Final Destination 5 is a 2011 American horror film written by Eric Heisherer and directed by Stephen Quayle. It is the fifth and presumably final installment of the Final Destination film series. It stars Nicholas D'Agosto, Emma Bell, Miles Fisher, Alana Scarpetta, David Koechner, and Tony Todd. It was released on August 12, 2011. Plot: Sam Lawton is on his way to a company retreat with his colleagues. While their bus crosses the North Bay Bridge, Sam has a premonition that the bridge will collapse, killing him and everyone on it, except for his ex-girlfriend Molly Harper, who he gets across the bridge safely. In a panic, he persuades Molly, his friends Nathan Sears and Peter Friedkin, Peter's girlfriend Candice Hooper, his boss Dennis Lapman, and co-workers Olivia Castle and Isaac Palmer to leave the bridge before it collapses, killing the remaining people on it. FBI agent Jim Block does not believe that Sam is responsible for the bridge collapse, but promises to keep his eye on him. At the memorial service, coroner William Bloodworth mysteriously tells the survivors that death doesn't like to be cheated, and warns them to be careful. Believing this to be nonsense, they ignore his warnings and leave. Later, Candice goes to gymnastics practice with Peter, but a chain reaction causes her to fall off the uneven bars, snapping her spine and killing her, leaving Peter devastated. The next day, Isaac is killed when his head is crushed by a falling Buddha statue during an acupuncture session at a Chinese spa. Bloodworth, who has been present for both deaths, tells the remaining survivors that if they wish to cheat death, they must kill someone who was never meant to die on the bridge, and thereby claim their remaining lifespan. On the same day, Olivia goes to an eye surgery clinic to treat her myopic vision. While the eye doctor is out looking for files, the laser malfunctions, searing her eye and hand. She manages to break free as Sam and Molly arrive to save her, but she trips and falls out of the window, onto a car below, dying instantly. Later, Sam realizes that the survivors are dying in the order they were meant to die on the bridge. He and Molly study Death's design and realize that Nathan is next on Death's list. Meanwhile, Nathan, who has returned to the plant, accidentally kills his co-worker, Roy Carson, during an argument by pushing him in front of the lifting hook, which impales his chin. Nathan relays this information to the remaining survivors, who believe he must have claimed Roy's remaining lifespan and therefore must be safe. When Dennis arrives to question Nathan about the incident, a wrench launched by a belt sander hits him in the face, killing him. That evening, Sam works at a restaurant, and after work asks his supervisor to reserve the restaurant for a date with Molly. Peter, who has become paranoid and insane after Candace's death, interrupts the date to tell them that he convinced himself he would be able to kill someone else in order to take their lifespan, and has decided to kill Molly. After Peter draws a gun, Sam and Molly both escape to the restaurant's kitchen. Agent Block overhears the shots from outside, but when he enters the restaurant he is killed by Peter. Believing that he is now safe from death, Peter decides to kill both Molly and Sam to remove any witnesses. Just as Peter is about to stab Molly with a kitchen knife, Sam intervenes by stabbing him in the back with a large skewer, killing him. Sam believes he has claimed Block's life. 2 weeks later, Sam and Molly board Volley Airlines Flight 180 to Paris. As they take their seats, a fight breaks out between two passengers, who are removed from the plane, along with several others. Upon takeoff, Sam overhears that one of the passengers had a vision of the plane's destruction, but it is too late to leave and both he and Molly are killed when the plane explodes. At Roy's memorial, Nathan learns that Roy's autopsy revealed he had a brain aneurysm that would have burst any day now. As Nathan realizes he is still in danger, the landing gear from Flight 180 crashes through the roof and crushes him. Cast: For more details on the characters, see List of Final Destination characters. Nicholas D'Agosto as Sam Lawton, Emma Bell as Molly Harper, Miles Fisher as Peter Friedkin, Ellen Rowe as Candice Hooper, Jacqueline McInneswood as Olivia Castle, P.J. Byrne as Isaac Palmer, Arlen Escarpeta as Nathan Sears, David Koechner as Dennis Lapman, Courtney B. Vance as Agent Jim Block, Tony Todd as William Bloodworth, Brent State as Roy Carson, Roman Podora as John, Jasmine Dring as Cho, Barclay Hope as Dr. Leonetti. Production Development Alan Horn, the head of Warner Brothers, confirmed at Showist in March 2010 that Final Destination 5 was in works at Showist. Producer Craig Perry later added that the film would be shot in 3D. Eric Heisherer was announced as screenwriter in April 2010. The studio initially picked August 26, 2011, as the release date, but later changed it to August 12, 2011. In June 2010, New Line Cinema announced that Stephen Quayle would direct. Casting in August 2010, actor and musician Miles Fisher was the first to be cast in the film as Peter Friedkin. Fisher had appeared in numerous short films and in a small role in the comedy film Superhero Movie. Fisher said during an interview that, "I've done a little bit of television and a little bit of film. But 3D is almost an entirely different sport." 3 days after Fisher's casting, Arlen Escarpeta was cast in the film as Nathan. Escarpeta explained that, "I think what they're going to do really well this time around, they're going to go back, the story, the plot. A lot of stuff is really going to matter. I think the last movie it was just death. It was death, 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 which is fine because that's what people want to see. But this time we're going to give them a little bit of everything. Good story. Great director, it's going to be good." He appeared in the films American Gun and the 2009 reboot of Friday the 13th. In late August 2010, Nicholas D'Agosto and Ellen Rowe were cast. 1 day later, Tony Todd, from the first 3 installments, joined the film. On August 30, 2010, David Koechner and P.J. Byrne were announced to have joined the cast. On September 2, Emma Bell was cast as the female lead, Molly. In mid-September, both Jacqueline McInneswood and Courtney B. Vance joined the main cast. Filming returned to Vancouver, where parts of the first 3 films were shot. Principal photography took place between September 13 and December 14, 2010. Producers stated that this installment would be darker and more suspenseful in the style of the original film. Final Destination 3 star Shalane Simmons revealed that the opening scene would be filmed on the Lions Gate Bridge in Vancouver. Music soundtrack. The soundtrack to Final Destination 5 was released physically on August 16, 2011, 4 days after the release of the film. The soundtrack contains 19 tracks composed by Brian Tyler, music composer of the Final Destination. It is also the second Final Destination soundtrack album to be released. Miles Fisher also released a tie-in video for his single, New Romance, which features the key actors in the film in a Saved by the Bell parody in which most are killed in freak accidents. In keeping with the series, commercial songs from the film, but not on the soundtrack. I Will Buy You a New Life by Everclear, Successful Leader by Jeff Timishuk, Ballroom by Terry Poison, Dust in the Wind by Kansas, Walk Like Water by Cliff P. DeMarx, Jr., Me, Myself and I by Excellence, The Orbiting Suns by Jens Gad, If You Want Blood by AC/DC, Give Me More by Empire, Left 4 Dead by Chimera, When Darkness Falls by Killswitch Engage. Score. The album contains 19 cues composed by Brian Tyler, omitting commercially released songs that were featured in the film. Name title: Fate's Bridge, Repercussions, Kill or Be Killed, Cheating Death, Bloodworth, Death's Work, Olivia, I Can't See No Good, The Gift Certificate, Meet the Gang, Hook in Mouth, Isaac's Got Her Point, Recognition, Mystery, Bend Over Backwards, The Order of Death, Plans Within Plans, Infinite Finale. Release. Box office. Final Destination 5 ranked number 3 at the weekend box office with $18.4 million behind Rise of the Planet of the Apes, which held the top spot for 2 weeks, and The Help. It was also the third biggest Final Destination opening to date behind 2009's The Final Destination and 2006's Final Destination 3. Final Destination 5 grossed $42,587,643 domestically, and $115,300,000 overseas, for a worldwide total of $157,887,643, becoming the second highest grossing film in the franchise. Home media. Final Destination 5 was released on DVD and Blu-ray disc on December 27, 2011. The Blu-ray disc comes in 2 forms: the movie-only edition and the Blu-ray disc (DVD) Ultraviolet edition. A Blu-ray 3D edition was released exclusively through Best Buy. The film was released in the UK on December 26, 2011, however only the Blu-ray disc special edition contained the 3D cut of the film. An ultraviolet copy was available in all formats. Before the film appeared in theaters, Fisher released a music video, starring the main cast of Final Destination 5 and featuring Fisher's original song, New Romance. The video parodied the 1990s sitcom Saved by the Bell and included a clue to the plot of the film. Fisher, a fan of the show, and video director Dave Green watched every episode, and contemporary shows like Boy Meets World and Clarissa Explains It All. We thought, gosh, wouldn't it be fun and subversive to have Final Destination-type deaths in this safe sitcom world, Fisher, who plays a Zach Morris-like character, said. He joked, I basically have always been looking for a way to dance with Kelly Kapowski my whole life. Reception. Final Destination 5 received mixed to positive reviews from critics. Review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes gave the film a rating of 61%, based on 129 reviews, with an average rating of 5.8/10. The site's critical consensus reads, "It's still only for the gore-thirsty faithful, but Final Destination 5 represents a surprising return to form for the franchise." It is the highest-rated film of the franchise on the site. On Metacritic, which assigns a weighted score, gives the film a score of 50 out of 100, based on 24 critics, indicating mixed or average reviews. The film was criticized for failing to bring anything new to the franchise, weak character development, and average dialogue, though the reception to acting has been largely mixed. Most positive reviews praised the film for being an improvement over the previous installment in the Final Destination series. Reviews also praised the use of 3D, the visual effects, the inventive death scenes, the return of suspense as opposed to a campy feel, and for both the premonition disaster sequence and the ending. Richard Roper stated in his review, "From the opening credits to the final kill, this film displays a great use of 3D." Todd Gilchrist of Box Office Magazine has declared the film in his review for being the best 3D horror movie ever made. He described Final Destination 5 as a clean, glossy thriller shot in native 3D that maximizes the technology without straining the audience's credulity or their constitutions. He also stated, calling anything the best 3D horror film has the ring of crowning the world's tallest midget. But Quayle uses 3D almost shockingly well. In a review for Toronto.com, Linda Barnard has stated, "This could be a case where the 3D shot movie is worth the extra few bucks to see." The visual effects were praised for improving on the weak CGI from the previous installment. Betty Jo Tucker of Real Talk Movie Reviews said in her review, "The film boasts some of the best visual effects ever. especially the bridge crumbling sequence at the beginning of the film. In his review of Final Destination 5, Roger Ebert said, "The special effects do an excellent job of beheading, incinerating, vivisecting, squishing and so on. Final Destination 5 contains some of the most fun effects ever seen that purely enhance the thrills and bloody spills, rather than detract from them," stated Lisa Giles-Keddy from UK.Real.com. The death scenes in the film have been praised as being suspenseful, creative, and shocking. Box Office Magazine said in praise, "Viewers connect to both the relatable pain of everyday injury and the gory gratification of a well-constructed, larger-than-life set piece," NJ.com admitted. "There is a certain inventiveness to the way director Stephen Quayle stages the violence." San Francisco Chronicle said that the characters are killed in gruesome and spectacular ways. The gymnastic set piece has been praised as anxiety-filled, a beautiful example of successful comic suspense, Hitchcockian edge-of-your-seat suspense, and inventively grotesque. Film.com stated in their review, "The subsequent deaths are hit or miss, but they all show some creative spark. Quayle sets them up like a cross between a joke and a magic trick, carefully establishing crucial details." The opening bridge collapse has garnered considerable critical praise, with many stating it as being on par with the pile-up sequence from Final Destination 2. It has been said to be one of the single best sequences of any film all year by Box Office Magazine. UK.Real.com stated that the opening bridge collapse sequence is beautifully directed and choreographed. Eric D. Snyder has stated in his review for Film.com that the opening premonition is nerve-janglingly effective. The New York Post called the bridge collapse sequence spectacular, and Daily News deemed it terrifying. USA Today commented on the sequence, saying, "The effect is terrific and reminiscent of the bridge destruction from Mission Impossible 3. Betsy Sharkey, a Los Angeles Times film critic, stated in her negative review, "I will say, the bus, and the bridge it must cross, does make for a pretty incredible wham-bam opening sequence," and further added, "The big crumble is a stunner of an opener." In a review for MSN.com, Kat Murphy said, "The fifth chapter starts out with a slam-bang catastrophe, then stated that the bridge collapse is skillfully orchestrated, and this sequence is actually enhanced by 3D. Holes in the disintegrating bridge seem to pull the gaze down, dizzyingly, to the river below, and jagged camera angles on hanging railings and sliding debris muddle our sense of what's up, what's down." The Hollywood Reporter praised this film's opening sequence as undeniably spectacular. Aaron Hillis from The Village Voice called the bridge collapse breathtakingly staged. The Advocate stated that director Steve Quayle and writer Hai Shearer staged the bridge's collapse in swift but exacting detail. The Austin Chronicle said the bridge collapse sequence is spectacularly gruesome. The Advertising Standards Authority in the UK ruled that the original theatrical poster, which had been used on buses and trains during the summer, was likely to cause fear and undue distress to children. It ruled that the advert must not appear in the original form again. Warner Brothers countered by stating that the poster accurately reflected the content of the film in an appropriate manner without causing excessive fear or distress. They also added that the poster's dark gray and black colors were unlikely to engage the attention of young children, and that the surreal image did not feature people, blood, or display any real-life violence. The Asher, which had received 13 complaints, with 3 stating that their children had been upset, ruled, "We considered the image was likely to catch the attention of children, especially because it was shown on a poster on the underground, where it was an untargeted medium."